Mila Falcha. Welcome to Irish Granny Helen. Welcome to all my new subscribers. You're a member. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. I really encourage people because this is where I do my cards. A little privacy, a little more intimate environment. I hope people can spread the word, which is ridiculous for me to suggest because you don't know each other. But nevertheless, I'm very appreciative that you're joining me here. I just did a video on the Menendez brothers, and I did it because I had not been familiar with the case, and Deborah and I decided that we're going to do a deep dive into it. She's going to channel the case here in the next couple of days. We're recording it soon. And I was not familiar with the story. As I said, I didn't have a TV. I didn't follow it. I just was busy with kids. But it's a real revelation. It's an interesting psychological study. It's full of all sorts of questionable stories. It's a real Shakespearean tragedy. So I thought we'd read cards on it. But if you've missed the video I made, it's not terribly long. It's just the background, the summary of it. What a terrible situation. So let's put these cards out. In general, I think the big question is, why did they do this? Patricide. It's not as rare as you might think, but it's not common. Okay, that feels right. Well, this is really interesting because I'm always trying to study about tarot. And I thought, I don't know specifically which cards would indicate the kind of allegations these kids made, young men, when it happened. Well, I just got 3 out of the 4 cards. So that says something. Okay, let's get down to business here. We're talking about 2 young men who had very little insight. The Hermit reversed. Very little introspection, self-awareness, concern about anything other than the things of the material world. They were not spiritual. They were not contemplative. Crossed by the Ace of Cups. So people without insight who are facing big emotion. Emotion is not always good. There are bad emotions. Emotions like resentment and anger and fear. So they were living in a world of lowered introspection, lowered self-awareness, and heightened emotion. Okay, so that sets the stage for what we're going to talk about. And then we have, in the atmosphere, the Ace of Wands, action. So far, not very meditative, not very self-aware, big emotions. And I'm getting anger, I'm getting fear. I'm not getting positive things. Usually, this is a great card to get. The context of this reading is really odd. So this action came from the emotions and the lack of self-awareness, the lack of feeling for other people. But here's where it gets weird, because I made a lot of assumptions based on their behavior. I'm doing this card reading before I do the session with Deborah. It will be interesting to see if we get the same thing. We may or may not. I'm going to go ahead and I'll be honest about what I see. And I know she will too. So at the foundation of this action was not about money. which I find shocking because I assumed that what it was. They were greedy, you know, and I think, yes, they were greedy and they were materialistic and they did take advantage of the financial aspect of this crime. Unarguably, inarguably, absolutely, can't find any way to deny that. But that wasn't the real motivating factor. It played in, but it wasn't the motivating factor. What was going on? Justice reversed. They felt an overwhelming sense of injustice had been done them. They had been wronged, and they decided to do something about it. We get the Four of Cups reversed. It took me a minute to figure out, okay, so what is this Four of Cups reversed try to tell me? It's like them saying, I'm not going to take it anymore. I've had enough, you know, like a refusal. They lived in a situation of stasis. They were trapped in this relationship and couldn't see a way out. And they decided they weren't going to take it anymore. So this is interesting. This is where it gets creepier than I thought it would. So this is the two of them. Knight of Cups reversed. Now the Knight of Cups, I often call it the false knight. If you're asking about your boyfriend and you get the Knight of Cups, you might want to think twice, because the Knight of Cups will present with this veneer of love. Hey, baby, I love you. Who loves you? Gift bombing, you know, attention bombing, all that. Can't be trusted. That's not these two. They can't be trusted. They are liars. But it comes from a place of abuse, mistreatment. This is one of the cards that signifies interfamilial. I don't need to go into details. And then the next card, the Eight of Cups. Same thing. I Googled what cards would indicate this kind of crime in a family. You know, mistreatment. You got this. I got this. And the outcome, Strength reversed. Those were the three cards. 3 out of 4. So the outcome, what had happened to them? At the hands of their father, they undid him. He was wealthy. He was smug. And they finally lashed out. So when they said that they did it in self-defense, that would be erroneous. A more accurate way would be to say retribution and anger and an element of fear. Let's look at a couple of more clarifying cards in general, just to clarify this, make sure that how I interpreted that is as accurate as it can be. Okay. Oh, wow. This is really interesting because remember I said that I got 3 out of 4 cards for that kind of mistreatment. This was the 4th card. And what they said about it was this card indicates I've had enough and I'm getting out of the situation. 10 of Swords reversed. 10 of Cups reversed. Not a happy family. They included their mother in the act. We'll have to do a separate reading on that. This part of it may be part that they regret or part of a particular anger. I can't, we'll do more cards on it. She didn't intervene. She didn't protect them. She was their mother and she didn't protect them. But they looked at her as pathetic. And then I got the King of Swords, and all I can think of, the Law. Okay, let's do a quick look at their relationship with their mother. I think their relationship with the father's been pretty well spelled out. Let's do a quick look with the relationship with their mother. Oh my God. Queen of Cups and the Moon. Secrets. That's twice we get the Queen of Cups when I asked about the mother. Okay. I think she loved them, but I think she was a weak person. And she was as mentally under the thrall of this man. The fact that she would not believe them, though, that's something else. Queen of Wands, she knew what was going on, and in her heart and in her intuition, she knew what was going on. She would not defy him. He was, in her head, he was this, like, I want to say Prince Charming. That seems weird. It's not a term I would necessarily pick, but he was also her livelihood. He provided her with life and the image. That was more important to her. The reason she was into substances was because she knew. The Ace of Cups. What did I talk earlier? Big emotion. Well, she suffered. She suffered, emotionally suffered for years and years and years. She could see no way out of it. Two of Wands. When they made that comment, I thought it was so callous, and it was callous, that they did her a favor. I must feel like that's true. Weird. Okay. We will pursue this a little more with Deborah. We can get down into the nitty-gritty of it with Deborah. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And please check out my Substack. I write some stuff about my family. I write some stuff about my political opinions. And somehow manage to connect it to ancient Rome almost every time. Slán go fóill. Slán.